If they say a picture was worth 1,000 words, Canelo was like,
everything's hard.
Hey, he knocked the cinnamon out of him with that punch. He felt that punch. He was like, yeah, you already know he belted the boy. So would it be offensive if I say that Canelo felt the black man power? Would that be offensive? Would that get some people pissed off? Would you start squirming in your seat if I said that?
Terence, are you ready to feel the Mexican power, Terence?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He felt that FBA power, you know? I'm just bringing up the differences in what you feel and what somebody's saying, feeling the Mexican power and feeling the black power or feeling the African power, how people are a little bit more offended and how that sounds more vulgar, you know, if you notice. But don't blame yourself. Your psyche's that way because you have a lot of social engineering and shit like that. But nonetheless, I'm hearing people are trying to even adapt some running rumors or some running accusations and shit like that. Man, y'all can do what y'all want out there. Resistance is futile. It's unanimous decision. Like I said, once Canelo showed frustration in that fight, you guys lost the ability to be able to argue. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing, like, maybe before then, you could have robbed him and we all would expect that y'all robbed him, even though we know Crawford really won, given boxing. But what really tipped the scales is when Canelo flat out showed that frustration, and when he buckled Canelo, and plus, if Terence Crawford, if he actually pushed it, if he actually turned that screwdriver, he could have set Canelo down. We all know that, okay? So at the same time, you can't talk about running about somebody who almost got buckled and dropped. Come on now. You could do better than that. Just accept it. And listen, this is one thing that I will say. I seen a lot of people grow up in this fight. I see a lot of people, Crawford forced y'all to grow up. But then again, the key word is forced. But nonetheless, you know, a lot of y'all owned up and just had to give it and like, hey, man, you know, I done seen people come on my page like, look, dog, I don't even like Terence Crawford. As a matter of fact, I'm a Terence Crawford hater. He did a good job and he won that fight. I'm talking about all type of people that dislike Crawford say, hey, man, you know, I don't even like your ass, Bruce, but Crawford's that deal. A lot of people came back and just gave it to him because at the end of the day, you felt like you seen, and you did. You seen something great happen. And not only that, you knew the person, you knew you was looking at the right man. You knew you was looking at the man that wasn't supposed to be there, but was supposed to be there. You know, you knew you wasn't looking at nothing manufactured. You knew you was looking at something forged through steel. You knew we was here because of who he was and what he did. And in this world, to see things balance out like that, nowadays, it's hard to see. So when you could see that, it's a good feeling. You know, we had it more in the early 2000s and the 90s, but let's face it, we living in an era where the suckers win, man. The suckers win. The simps win. The hoes win. Let's face it, we've been stuck in this twilight for a long ass fucking time. So when we see somebody of the light that gets a victory, it's like, that's why you feel like that. Because you know it's just. But the fuckboy's been winning so long, the hoes been winning so long, the bitch ass motherfuckers been winning so fucking long. And staying on top because it's a bitch ass world and they can adapt to them climates better than, you know what I'm saying, people who got a moral center or, you know what I'm saying, a sense of self or not on the assembly line or not no sheep or somebody wants to force their own path or be their own man, just like you see in Crawford. It's good to see that guy beat the machine. That's what you've seen, a man who beat the machine. He had to beat Canelo in all type of ways to get that victory. And he had to do it exactly like that. Because as you can see, there's still people trying to detract, which there shouldn't be. You know, not at all. It shouldn't be, yet it is. But, yeah. Canelo fought that black man power, just like y'all wanted him to feel the Mexican power. Felt that black man power. How does that sit with you? Does it sound offensive? If it does sound offensive, then you should think the same thing when you talk about somebody feeling the Mexican power, because the only time y'all want somebody to feel the Mexican power is when it's somebody is brown, just like you. I mean, because we all brown. That's the only time you talking about some Mexican power. Like I said, bring that fucking shit to the Eastern Europeans and shit like that. Bring that shit to the Puerto Rican. Bring that shit all. But don't just have that shit for us. That's why I said Canelo fans needed this loss more than Canelo. Because one thing that I can say about Canelo, and I've always said this, even with all the hating and bullshit they've been doing. Professionally, I have a problem with Canelo. Personally, I've said it endless times. I like Canelo. Canelo is actually not his fan base. He acts nothing like them. You know, it's just recently in the past, I'll say 3-4 years, he's been adapting his fan base talking points and rhetoric. That's what really fucked it up and got it really on some fuck Canelo shit. You know what I'm saying, when he started doing that. But then again, he had to appease his, you know what I'm saying, his masses. I get it. But as much as y'all like about Canelo, one thing that y'all should take away from Canelo is actually how Canelo carries himself in character. Not in boxing, but just how he is. Canelo's very respectful, humble. You know what I'm saying? He could be real with himself when he doesn't have to be fake with himself, because he knows that the Mexican fan base needs that delusion. You know, he knows that shit. But all the shit y'all want to pick him and all the shit y'all admire about him, so like adapt that shit. Because he really is a cool dude. But, you know, boxing, been on that bitch shit. But with a fan base like that, and with the way boxing is set up, and him really being the only pillar, to a certain degree, that's why, once again, I've said this before, to a certain degree, he didn't have a choice. He had to somewhat be what he is right now. Even if he wanted to be authentic and stuff like, because of what he represents, he too important, both in America and Mexico. He's forced into being somewhat of a puppet. To tell you the truth, I don't even think Canelo can pick when he can retire. To be honest with you, you know, he's wrapped up in so much shit. But nonetheless, man, give it up to Crawford, man. He shut you up. He set you down. And that's what you're supposed to do. And I see that Canelo fans got a whole fucking itinerary ready for Terence Crawford. They got suggestions on who he should fight and all this other shit. Funny, they didn't have that type of enthusiasm, and their brains wasn't working that good when it was time to find some opponents for Canelo. So with that being said, if knowing you was a Super Saiyan Canelo fanboy, you shut the fuck up when you talk about what you want to see Crawford do. And I'm going to tell you the main point why, and this is what I'm going to end it with. Because we didn't already figured out with you, it's not about putting him up with somebody so you can test him and see how good he is so you can eventually give him credit. It's about running him up against the next somebody up until he loses, because your aim is not to give credit. Your aim is to see somebody take a loss. And that's been y'all pathetic ass position and mental position this entire time in fucking boxing. You know what I mean? And that's why y'all hanging y'all fucking heads in boxing right now, because you ultimately realize you guys have completely fucked up. You have fucked up by allowing him to do what he did, and he did it to y'all. And guess what? He left y'all without a back door. There's no back door. Do you realize, all right, do you realize there is no more passing of the ceremony thing? Do you realize that's dead now, right? You realize that can't happen now, right? Like y'all really don't get it. Like, if you was listening to this video, I hope you stayed up to this point, because this is really what it's about. Do you realize the passing of the torch ceremony that was supposed to have with David Benavidez? Do you realize that is gone? You know that, right? Even if somebody goes behind and beat him, and Crawford took that. Like I said, you guys lost a lot just by being stupid. No, I ain't gonna say stupid. Being prejudiced and wanting to mimic something that you're not, for the sake of not being associated with what you are. Yeah, it's way deeper than you. Yeah. Y'all just now seeing it. When it was too late. When the ink dried the paper. Now oh my God, if he loses boxing, it's fuck. Ain't nothing wrong with boxing. But there is a big problem with Mexican boxing. Oh yeah, y'all got a big problem. Yeah. You think y'all was juicing now? Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Van, I'm out.